Hey, Charles here. Do you find yourself running in a creative autopilot when you're about to start a project or you're literally hyping yourself for your next comeback season before you put out your launch for your next singles? But then you find yourself in a constant loop of the same stuckness, okay, the same doubts, the insecurities, and like, whoa, my fire is like fading out, my momentum is decreasing, the oomph that was there, it's no more there. It's because you're trying to push forward with a limiting belief that is holding you back greatly. And this belief is so ingrained in your process flow, your creative process, that you can hardly see them. It's like breathing. And these are not just like your thoughts, it's literally like invisible handcuffs created from your past trauma, fear, being in a hustle culture, and survival mode. And only once when you're able to literally see them, identify them, that's when the real transformation happens and for you to literally unbind from the whole chains of the past. All right, so let's get into it. So I'm talking to my dancer, singer, musician, and visual artist, even tattoo artist. So you're always taught to constantly grind, perform, produce, publish, then back at it again. But when you start to rest or like take a pause, then whoa, you've been hit with like a huge amount of guilt, shame, sometimes harshness. I used to be really, really harsh with myself. You start to feel like, oh my god, I'm lazy, I'm falling behind, or I'm going to lose some of my audiences, especially if you already created a bombshell previously and you're expected to create the same thing almost immediately, like, yo, when's the next thing coming? I need this right now. Like, where are you? But you got to understand this. When you depreciate your downtime, you are more susceptible to the longevity of your limiting beliefs. So how does this look like? Firstly is you can't visualize your next step or the best case scenario. You just feel like there's a huge wall. You can't just imagine. Secondly, you feel like your collaborators or your clients, take however it resonates, you feel like they override your decisions and your gut feeling, so your intuition. And you feel disconnected with your body and your craft, especially if you're a dancer. This it kind of feels messed up, it feels weird. Fourthly is you stay in a project although you've kind of outgrown it. Sometimes before you even complete it, you just feel like you just don't resonate with that work anymore, but you still complete it because for the sake of you feel very guilty or you feel obligated to do so. Next is your personal brand and your creative energy starts to flatline. Okay, it just fizzles out away. And lastly is you start to resent the process and worst, yourself. So this is how bondage looks like. It's quiet, it's subtle, and it's really, really creatively corrosive. And you're going through this all by yourself, alone. Sometimes no one knows it, right? Because you put on a mask, the smile, and you already have your energy fixed to your identity when you perform and all that. But deep down, you're facing all of this just by yourself. And I know it's incredibly heavy, and that's why I'm here to help you, okay? For you to literally see what's going on, all right? So gaining clarity is the first step to transform. So let's get to the next thing. So what does real stuckness looks like in a creative world? So firstly is overcommitting to other people's project above your own. And this could be in like collaborations, creative tasks, favors here and there. You are being put in a cage of other people's timeline, expectations, their own parameters, and you may be doing this out of like pure intentions, kindness, so you really want to help them, but it's also a subtle way of avoiding your creative fear. So then this people pleasing pattern is actually a subconscious strategy of you sidelining your vulnerability of pursuing your art. So you're overworking, because of course when you overcommit, you overwork. You're overworking and neglecting your inner artist diminishes your beginner mindset. uh, so is your state of exploring and being playful, right? So as a result, your inspiration and motivation dries up. Then all of a sudden, you start to see your authenticity get stifled. That's why when you find yourself, how, why do I feel weird that I can't use my inspiration or anything that had motivated me in the past to, like, fire up my ass. But it's because you are in this state at the moment. And so once your authenticity gets stifled, you of course feel very pressured in, being, you want to be perfect, you want to be impactful, you want to be as authentic as you can, rightfully so. You want to be the best of yourself in front of your audience and every time that you perform, of course. But since you're in this state, you are more susceptible to being in the comparison spiral. So you look at other people's plate and then you start to see that, oh, other people are striving, and well, you know how the impact of comparison is, right? So your inner artist starts to feel unsupported, unseen, and unsafe. And this greatly impacts your creative energy. So, what truly happens after all this? It leads you to burnout, feeling resentment, and losing your creative voice. And this is quite a destruction, right? So I want you to see the domino effect of how just one thing has an impact to all the other problems, how it trickles down, right? So all it takes is you just overcommitting, overworking, giving everything that you've got to everybody else above your own, and that leads to comparison spiral, burning out, you wondering what happened to your inspiration and motivation. Why can't I tap into that innovation? How can I match up my authenticity and innovation? Okay, so these two big things that makes you evolve and prosper as an artist, right? Okay, second is you feel emotionally detached from your work. You're producing, you're publishing, you are delivering, but then the spark isn't there. It seems more of a 9 to 5, like you're just clocking it in, clocking it out. When you find yourself in this prolonged numbness, then you know change needs to happen. And you can also find yourself playing it safe all the time, sticking to the same routine, the same techniques, the same genre, because you don't want to put yourself in the risk of failing, right? Because it's terrifying, of course. And next is you might find yourself, you are there, but you just feel invisible when you are, perhaps in a studio or in your rehearsals. You just find yourself, you're not truly seen, you're just merely executing. So fifth is self neglect is being masked as commitment. So you skip your meals, you ignore your signals from your body, you start to just numb out, and then you just tell yourself, okay, maybe after the next singles that I put out, maybe after the next show, after the next gig, then the after becomes next, 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 and then that moment doesn't come at all. Then you stop and realize that, oh my God, it's been months since I actually really took care of myself and nourished myself. So don't wait till it's too late. No, okay? So six is, so you start something but you don't really finish. You have a whole lot of ideas in your sketchbook or notepad or wherever you jot them down. You get so hyped up, you already know your vision of this project, you know who gets to be in part of this, how is it going to turn up, it's fucking dope. But then mm, you're being stuck in the paralysis analysis. Okay, it just like holds you so goddamn tight. Seven is rest feels so damn guilty. So this ties up to the fifth point. When you feel the thought of even resting makes you go into a spiral of, I'm wasting my time, I'm going to look like I'm a fraud, or you may start to even question your credibility as an artist. That's what I see in some of the creatives out there. Eight, comparison becomes a habit. You start to throw a lot of flowers to your peers or other creatives out there, but then instead of getting inspired all the time, you start to shrink. And it really hurts me because some of you that are out there that I've seen is so beautifully, so talented and unique, and you start to really, really doubt yourself, and then that really affects your momentum and your whole confidence, and you start to really question yourself. And it really saddens me to see that because you're so fucking unique, and you need to know how powerful you are. Okay, and nine is you become a vessel to everybody else. So it's kind of overlapping with the very first point. So you become an open vessel for your bandmates, for your clients, for your students, your crew, who's a part of your creativity process. And in this whole situation, you may find yourself, being agitated, triggered, being angry at the time because you're always over giving to everyone else. So your energy is always dissipating, and you just feel like, I just need some time out, man. Like, please get the fuck away from me, okay? Lastly, number 10, you carry shame like a luggage. I be probably carrying like 50 fucking kilos like on my back the whole goddamn time, and like walking, oh my god, leaving that shame behind. It took me a goddamn time to get here, okay? So it may be some comments or some failures from the past, or sometimes it's not even related to your creativity, okay? Some things that your parents said to you like way back ago, but it still affects and it haunts you right now, and it affects how the way you show up, the way that you are, right? These are all unspoken. It's all the quiet things that you've been dealing it alone, right? So it's heavy. So in this case, momentum isn't the answer. You got a new tools, got new branding, new approach, but it just fizzles out, right? It's like you're trying to light up a match to fire up a bunch of wet logs. Okay, you can have the most crispiest matchstick new box, but then the logs are fully wet. It's soaked in all of your past limiting beliefs. So you're trying to start a new chapter with the same old script, right? So it's not about getting stronger, it's about you shedding your weight of the old beliefs. So the bondage ends when your belief shifts. So in part two, we'll break down the real script that's been running your show. Hi, I'm Shaz, transformational coach for creatives who've been in the industry for years. So I'm talking about dancers, singers, musicians, and visual artists who wants to break free from reoccurring creative blocks, feeling isolated, burnout, overwhelmed, and navigating through identity shifts. So, my mission here is to help you to strengthen your intuition and to embrace your vulnerability so you can move forward with clarity, authenticity, confidence, while being ruthlessly rooted in your values, right? So, if anything that I had chat with you today resonated with you, I created a self-guided toolkit which is called the Break Creative Stagnation Toolkit. This had really helped me to ground myself and to push through the challenges. And it walks you through your mind, your boundaries, your values, and your intuitive decision. Intuitive decision. So this includes 2 private coaching calls. So you can discuss with me about your current struggles, and we can map out an action plan that is suitable for you, right? So the link is in the description box below. But if you really want to put this into action and you don't want to give any more time, energy, and power away to the creative resistance, I suggest you to join my 30-day intuition strengthening intuition workshop. It's an extension of the toolkit that I mentioned, but it's more deeper than that. It's for you to deepen your brand presence, your artistic identity, and your momentum. Okay, so the details are in the description box below and a link in bio as well. If you have any questions you want to clarify with me, my email and my Instagram, all the details are in the description box below, so you can go ahead and reach out to me there as well. So thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate your time. It will be great if you can like, subscribe, and comment if you really feel drawn to this. So yes, I'll see you in part two, and just want to let you know that identifying your limiting beliefs it takes time, but it's the most crucial and pinnacle part of your transformation. So um, really give yourself a big round of applause, and hug yourself when you're if you find yourself in this journey, right? So yeah, I'll catch you in the part 2 of the video. All right, so take care, bye.